Hello and welcome to our channel Ledger to Life. So in today's topic we are going to learn on what is accountancy, and even before proceeding into the topic I would like you to ask yourself this question. Do you really need accounting? Let's first understand why do we need accounting. I am giving an example. Say you started your own business and invested rupees 1 lakh. This 1 lakh rupees you have spent on 20,000 in office rent. Okay, so you have taken a place on rent, so 20,000 you have spent on that. 5,000 on stationery, you have invested on furniture for 70,000, and you, out of the total 1 lakh, the remaining cash which is left is only 5,000, and you started the business of doing this bookkeeping services. Okay, now what happens? You got one client for whom you are providing this bookkeeping services, from whom you are generating a revenue of 80,000. Okay, so in an ideal scenario, your 1 year you have started your business, you got one client, you have invested 1 lakh rupees, and you had this 1 lakh you have spent on various things, and you also had got one client. And end of the year, any entrepreneur would want to know how their business has performed, correct? So now let us see, this is what has happened at end of the year. What you do, you sit down and try to understand whether you have made a profit or loss. You had invested 1 lakh rupees, which is spent on office rent 20,000, stationery of 5,000, furniture of 70,000, and out of this 1 lakh, the balance you have is only 5,000. So remaining all you have spent. Okay, and you generated a revenue of, which is your income that you earn from your only client, that is 80,000. Okay, so you had spent, except for the 5,000, remaining would be 95,000 which you had spent, right? And you earned an income of 80,000. So on a layman's term, if you don't understand or learn accounting in the right manner, what would happen? You would assume that I had an income of 80,000 and I had expenses of how much? 95,000. So you would be feeling very bad that you made a loss of rupees how much? 15,000, right? But this is why I say that you need to understand accounting properly. Because when you understand accounting, you will know to identify what are all the nature of the transactions. You would also know the nature of accounts. Okay, and you can interpret the results, interpret the performance better. So these are the three main reasons why you need to understand accounting properly. In accountancy, how do we actually arrive at profit or loss? Let us understand now. So I had said now that accountancy helps in identifying the nature of the transactions, nature of accounts, and interpreting the performance much better, right? So, while identifying the nature of the transactions, so we identify that office expense, which is office rent, which is an expense. Okay, stationery is once again an expense. However, furniture is still an expense, but it is a long term expenditure, and hence it is actually an asset. Cash account, once again, is actually a asset. So the initial amount which you had invested is nothing but the capital which you had invested. So for calculating the profit or loss, we begin with our income or the revenue, which is 80,000, and we reduce all the expenses. So the expenses are nothing but office rent and stationery, which put together comes to 25,000. So, if you put your knowledge of accountancy and then calculate what is the profit, actually the profit earned is 55,000. So, in your first year of incorporation of your startup business and getting a client and making a profit of 55,000, it's actually a very good sign. With your performance, you have done really good. So this you can understand and interpret only if you have the knowledge of accountancy. So this is what we are going to learn. Now we'll proceed further on what is accounting. With this understanding, now let's move on to know what is accounting. So, accounting is a process of recording that includes you are entering journal entries for each of your financial transaction. Then these transactions are entered into something called as ledgers. Okay, so ledger is nothing but all the transactions of same nature are categorized together and posted in one place, which we call it as ledgers. And these ledgers are then summarized into trial balance. Finally, the balance sheet, the financial statement, which includes trading profit and loss account and balance sheet, is prepared. So this we call it as financial statements. And the accounting process that doesn't end with the preparation of the financial statement, it also includes the interpretation of the results. Management accounting, which is another branch in accounting, who deal with comparing the current year performance with the budgets and analyzing the performance with the previous year actuals and so on. So these interpretations help the management in making better decisions for the upcoming years on how to change their business decisions such a way that they can increase their profits for the coming year. Stay tuned to this channel where I'll be coming up from the basic videos and also solving problems right from the grade class 11 and 12 and up until CA, CWACS Foundation Accountancy subject. Thank you.